Governance. In the IT and cybersecurity world, governance plays a huge role in everyday operations. It is the backbone that supports an organization's information security framework, shaping its guidelines, policies, standards, and procedures. As technology evolves, regulations change, and cultural shifts occur within the industry. The need for monitoring and revising governance becomes increasingly important. So, first of all, what is governance? Governance is the first component of the GRC triad, or governance, risk, and compliance. It refers to the strategic leadership, structures, and processes that ensure an organization's IT infrastructures aligns with its business objectives. It involves making key decisions about risk management, resource allocation, and performance measurement. Simply put, governance is about establishing a strategic framework that aligns with the organization's objectives and regulatory requirements. This framework includes the rules, responsibilities, and practices that guide an organization in achieving its goals and managing its IT resources. Governance directly influences the creation and implementation of an organization's guidelines, policies, standards, and procedures. Governance plays a crucial role in shaping the path an organization should follow, particularly in situations involving risk. It helps establish guidelines, which, while not mandatory, provide a recommended approach to handling various situations. Furthermore, governance is instrumental in policy development, creating high-level guidelines that outline the organization's commitment and intentions towards certain actions, such as data protection or ethical conduct. It also influences the creation of standards, which are more specific, often mandatory rules that must be followed to adhere to a policy, typically defined by industry or regulatory bodies. Lastly, governance ensures that alignment of procedures, the detailed steps to be followed to accomplish specific tasks, with the organization's strategic objectives, and so ensures the consistency and compliance with both policies and standards. As technology advances, regulatory landscapes shift and cultural changes occur within an industry. The governance framework must adapt. This is where monitoring and revision come into play. Monitoring involves regularly reviewing and assessing the effectiveness of the governance framework. It helps identify any gaps or weaknesses that might have arisen due to changes in technology, regulations, or industry culture. Revisions, on the other hand, involves updating the governance framework to address these gaps or weaknesses. This could involve updating the policies, standards, and procedures, or making changes to the organization's IT infrastructure or operations. Let's consider an example. TechFirm is a hypothetical software development company with a governance framework in place to ensure secure coding practices. In 2015, TechFirm started using cloud-based services for some of its operations. This technological advancement required a review of their governance framework. They had to update their policies and procedures to include secure use of cloud services. In 2018, new data protection regulations were introduced, requiring more stringent protection of customer data. TechFirm had to monitor these regulatory changes and revise their governance framework accordingly. They updated their data protection policies and adopted new security standards. Recently, there's been a cultural shift towards remote work. In response, TechFirm revised their governance framework once again. They updated their policies on remote work, adopted new procedures for secure remote access, and implemented new IT systems to support remote workers. In each case, TechFirm monitored changes in technology, regulations, and industry culture, and revised their governance framework to address these changes. This ensured that their governance framework remained effective and that they continued to maintain secure operations. So remember, governance refers to the overall management of the organization's IT infrastructure, policies, procedures, and operations. It involves the establishment of a strategic framework that aligns with the organization's objectives and regulatory requirements. Governance affects the creation of guidelines, policies, standards, and procedures directly. Finally, by adapting to changes in technology, regulations, and industry culture, governance helps ensure that an organization's IT systems and processes are secure, efficient, and compliant with all relevant laws and regulations.